Yes, ma'am.
I have kind of an announcement and possibly a call for help. So Shaw Speech and Hearing Center, you may be aware or not, that we occupied in Mayo's old law building. Well, they're giving us a little bit of legal hassle with renewing our lease. It is possible that we may have to quickly find alternate space for our Charlotte clinic. In February, by February. Don't know yet. I'm hoping we'll work through this, but y'all probably know the reputation of who I'm working with. So I'm just putting that out there. Obviously, we're working with, brokers and such, but if anyone happens to know of any alternatives or space that's 6,000 square feet, ideally in the Midtown area, because we need to be close to bus routes and 277. I just want to throw that out to this group. You can let me know, but they don't share this if you could with anybody. I'm trying to not creep my staff out and handle it, mostly myself at this point.
Make sure you let Rebecca know. She stepped out for a minute, but since that's her area.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Okay.
She's
You
a.
never know.
Marsha.
She definitely,
Yes.
Awesome.
So we're looking at a couple spaces and looking at options, but I'm hoping it works out, but he wants to double. I mean, it would just put it, I'd have to lay off like 3 Yeah, so.
Does it have to be a medical facility?
It doesn't, it can be office.
Office spaces.
6,000 square feet.
That's where we're at. Obviously, we're looking at 5, we're looking at 8, we're, trying to find a, alternatives. Also to have strength his leverage to be like, get him to come down, and not have to uproot, everybody.
Sure.
So anyway, just wanted to share that in case anyone had a brilliant idea.
And you had another announcement?
Do I have what, sorry?
You said you had an announcement and a.
Oh, no, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Announcement / please help.
There's a slash, not an ampersand.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hey, wow. Happy dollar.
Okay, who's happy? I know we're all happy. Who's happy? We wouldn't be happy. We wouldn't be here if we weren't happy.
There you go.
Yes, am I? You're doing it.
I'm gonna virtually donate. I'm happy. I just want to announce there's a Hindu holiday tomorrow called Diwali. And it's really a festival light. It's not really so much a religious holiday, but more of a cultural holiday when people just get together and we eat a lot of sweets and just set off fireworks. That's a big part of it, and also we decorate our homes, and just it's kind of the Christmas for the Hindu culture. So it's a big holiday for us, and it's also the New Year for us. So we don't follow the Georgian calendar. We have our own calendar, which we are in the 5,000th year already.
What day is this?
Tomorrow, no, today. So it goes on for about 5 days.
Okay, but it's now.
It's now. So the main Diwali is on Sunday. And then we also have a brother sister day in there in one of the 5 days.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right, well, the Hmong are doing their New Year right now.
Happy
too. All
Diwali.
right, that's awesome. I gotta remember that.
Congratulations. All right, who else?
Go ahead, Jim.
No, sorry.
There you go, sir.
I think all of you know this club has a very rich history of veteran services and from all the branches of military services. So that's just to say thank you to all.
Thank you.
Please, I want to add that as well. Thank you.
That's another $1. I just wanted to echo what Jim said, and particularly I want to thank our veterans. I think Howard, of course, was in the Air Force. Tom is online and was in the Army. Do we have any other veterans here? Darrell, of course, because he was our speaker. Dave Miller, of course, was in the Army.
Right.
And I think Gus was in the Marine Corps.
Yes.
I think that covered everybody, but definitely thankful for your service, individually and collectively. I also am grateful that Ginny and I are walking the walk with our support of the 7th area of focus. That being the environment, we invested in a Lomi composter
Ah,
And we tried it for the first time,
Wow.
and it is awesome.
wow.
It makes some really sweet compost.
And it's very easy to use.
Sweet,
It
good for
is.
your garden beds.
Kids
Yep.
like a compost.
Yes.
Anyone else? Rebecca?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Rebecca.
I actually have cash.
So does Kelly.
Another is for veterans, including Tom and Choice's father, and Darrell, everyone, obviously, and my dad. And,
Awesome. What branch was your dad in?
he was in the Army,
Cool.
82nd Airborne.
Yay!
Yeah. I've been in real estate now for just hit the third year, and I ended up making the top producer list. I'm incredibly grateful, proud, because I did not see that coming, so super excited.
Oh, that is great.
Really happy.
That is awesome. That
David's
is
back
so
to take our raffle money, so figured I'd put it in the happy hat.
Anyone else?
There you go. Okay, I'll make my contribution in cash. But I am so happy to see such energy here in this club. That makes me, the years that I've been a part of Rotary and part of Dilworth, it's just exciting to come every Friday and be a part of. And thank you for all of you that participated. Thanks to all of those that were in the military. Eve, thanks for being here today. I hope that this makes a big impact on you towards your future.
Made a hell of an impression, I'll tell you that. She'll never be back.
No, I don't think that's the case. So thank you very much for all of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Masoli, what would you?
I have 10 for good friends and things like that. I have been in commercial real estate for 37 years, and I'm always the lowest producer of my one person. One person's company.
Somebody has to
So
set the standard.
it's somebody else's.
Goals
are
good.
But I also have, for veterans, Dad was in World War II, drove a tank in Italy against Italians, and he was full-blooded Italian.
Oh,
And he took 2 shots, 30 caliber through the knee and a 30 caliber through the side. 2 Purple Hearts. But there's something that's more important that I'd like to suggest. I don't know if all you can see this or not, but on 9/11 of last year, and you can do this, I got to lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. The wreath is $400. Lay a wreath and they deliver it, and you go out there and you stand there while they play taps. I'm tearing up a little now. I was bawling my eyes out at the reverence of this. If you haven't done it, it's worth doing. And Karen and I did it on 9/11, and it was raining like crazy, which hid the tears. But I'm thinking of all the people that have stood there, and even the men who guard that tomb. So I encourage you to go to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. Just fill out a form, send it to the Army, and you can do it.
Excellent.
wow.
Wow.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else?
Here's the one.
How'd you get it? You sneak in the back door?
Here's another day.
John's got
Where's
a
Kelly?
Is John
Hey there. He's looking for some money, I guess. We'll get-
Okay, all right,
I'll get back.
so,
I'll get back.
$1 for our veterans. My grandfather was World War II, Iwo Jima, Saipan. Well, it was not good, but, and then this dollar is to pay it forward because for Charles Speech and Hearing and Promising Pages, we need landlords to be kind to nonprofits because we're all being shut out of spaces and
That's a problem.
it's a
Look for
problem.
sublease deals.
That's a problem.
Sublease deals are everywhere.
Yes, it's tough. Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mr. Barringer.
Bring back lots of memories. This is in honor of my second cousin, who is a tail gunner in a B-17, shot down
So you need more.
when the plane crashed. The whole crew survived. They crashed 35 miles from where his mother, my aunt, and my mother were born in Crefeld, our sister city in Germany.
Wow.
So he survived it, and he's now 102.
Wow.
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 Okay, I don't think I can make it over there, so I'm gonna have to slide right along here.
There is $1 from my father who spent World War II running steel mills in Pittsburgh so that all of you veterans.
Supporting the cause.
Could do it, and this is for a very good friend from the Vietnam era who died.
Okay, very good.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Any,
I still haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, wait till that.
Say the best for that.
I was not in the service, however, I've been a volunteer at the USO for 16 years. And this is a big time for us at the USO, a lot of things going on with all the people up there, and I appreciate everything that the service people do, and that's why I work there, for all the service people. That's for that, and then my mom was 98 years old on Wednesday. and
wow.
She had a little party at her independent living place up in Massachusetts, and she's 98, so she can't believe she made it to 98.
One good glass of red wine, right?
Exactly right. That's for her, so that's it, 98. Everybody else, all set? Okay, thank you.
You're all set.
All set, my friend, we're good.
Thank you.
Daryl, you don't have time to talk now.
Yeah, sorry, Darrell.
All right.
The meeting's over now.
Now I gotta change hats.
Wait, I gotta get a picture.
So with that.
Thank you.
Again, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And I am here and giving my presentation on behalf of the American Legion. My name is Darrell Bonapart. I'm the current District 20 Commander for the American Legion for Mecklenburg County, where we have a little over 3,500 members in Mecklenburg County. And I have 13 American Legion post facilities that I'm over also in Mecklenburg County. We'll be leaving tomorrow morning to go. I'll be flying to Indianapolis, Indiana, to where our national headquarters is located, and we'll be going there for a National Legion College. So you're chosen, so only 2 people from each state are allowed to go if you were in line for a leadership promotion. So I'm looking to become the commander over North Carolina, so they have me in line, so this is a requirement for me in order for me to accept that role as the commander over North Carolina. So with that being said, Rebecca, you can do the share of the North Carolina American Legion. She's going to share the site for North Carolina American Legion, and we're gonna get a little bit of information, and I'll be way under, but I'll keep it nice and simple.
Darrell,
So,
when will you know about the decision about heading North Carolina?
I'm in line for, I think it's gonna be 2026 or 2027.
Okay.
So we go out like the Rotary.
Yeah.
They have you out there. And it's already no, so my next role is to be the division commander next year. I'll be over 4 counties.
Okay.
And then from there, you just do 1 year, just like here.
Yep.
And then I'll be over in the state.
Love it.
Popping up there.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, and
Get
so
your exercise
with
in.
the American Legion, and so she's, Rebecca's going to be bringing up to share what we're doing. So I'll say a little bit about myself. I served 15 years, U.S. Army. Started out at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. We always call it Fort Lost in the Wood because it's in the middle of nowhere out here in Missouri. And I did my basic training there. I was in the same year that the first Gulf War was happening. And the Gulf War, they held us there at Fort Leonard Wood. I started literally on January 2nd, 1991. And it was 5 below zero that day that we began our basic training. Coming from Charlotte, North Carolina, I didn't know crap about cold. There, and that was a different kind of cold. And so it got down to as much as 15 below zero, and you still had to go outside and train. That didn't change anything. And so once again, I started off as an engineer, with an explosive expert, and that was my field, along with learning how to build bridges, whatever, but mine was explosion. So that was a short-lived MOS, as we called it, because when they did the first Gulf War, I noticed that they used my fellow comrades as guinea pigs because they wanted to get those bombs. They didn't want them to go off. They wanted to see how they worked. So a lot of them lost their lives trying to acquire those explosives. While Iraqis are up in the mountain calling the phone, and boom, as soon as you got near it. So I changed it. I went to medical school at Fort Sam Houston, and I spent 10 years as a platoon sergeant over a medical unit, a combat medical unit. We were just like MASH. So I never did
Better
hospital.
attitudes.
Say again?
With better attitudes.
With better attitudes. We didn't have a clinger, but But, we had,
Did you have a radar?
we had a lot of radars, yes. So it was crazy, and the docs was just like they were. So I never got to do hospital, we were always out in the field. And it was something I'll never forget. The best training you could have ever gotten if you could have went to the Air Force Medical School. They had them, and then they had the best medical practices that you wanna get. So we got ours, we saved lives, and we didn't kill anyone, so to speak. I hope they didn't.
What years were you medical?
The years I was medical was 1998 to 2006. Yes.
You used sandbox?
Sandbox, yes, sir. We deployed in 2003. We, for right after, 9/11, when the war started. And, we were an attachment to field artillery, the first and 1/3 13th Field Artillery. We were attached to them, and we deployed out of Fort Bragg. They called us up on October 1st, 2003. I'll never forget it. And, so that was, being said, my time ended because I was injured. I was temporarily paralyzed. And we were in a vehicle, driving a night mission, and there was a big crater that, didn't see. We were moving along and went straight in it. And I woke up in a helicopter being flown off, and that ended my time. But I got 15 years in, and they're taking care of me, and 3 knee replacements and some other surgeries later, I'm still standing. So, but it was well, for me, it was well worth it, besides the days I can't sleep. But other than that, that's me and my introduction into myself. I ain't gonna go into everything I did. I will add on one thing. This Veterans Day weekend. When I was injured, after I got well, I didn't get sent home immediately, like discharged out. Once I got well, they kept me on the books. So I became what they call the Rear Detachment NCOIC, the non-commissioned officer in charge, right? So they sent me back to the headquarters. And when they sent me back, what I ended up doing in partnership with the Sergeant Major is that I ended up having to do death notifications. So whenever our comrades passed away, I had to work with them to do the notifications to the families. And that was the most heart-wrenching and difficult job in my life I had to do. And so I ended up doing, I did 2 families, and that wasn't all that I did, but that really stood out the most with me in doing that and having to notify the family members of friends, because they literally served with us. This wasn't someone from other units, from our unit, from our battalion. So we lost a major, and we lost 8 out of our battalion during that deployment. So I got to do, 2 of them, and, having to contact them and dressing in your dress uniform and going to their home and doing that was something that I never ever want to do again in my life. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But, I did do that as a part of my time, and because I couldn't physically do anything else, and they didn't want, each soldier were money. So if they can keep you, they're gonna keep you on the book because we're still money. So they kept me on for a little bit, and once our appointment was over, then that's when they said, okay, we're done with you, you can go home now, for good. So, but nonetheless, in doing so, that job made it even more imperative to me that I needed to continue on being able to serve and help veterans in any way possible. So I joined the American Legion during that time, back in 2005, actually, while I was still deployed. I joined the American Legion and got to see what it is that they do and why, and just it's an amazing, wonderful organization. So with that, the About Us, what I wanted to share with this, the American Legion, the nation's largest wartime veteran service organization, right at about close to 2 million members around the world. Now, we're not just in the United States. We're in the Philippines. We have American Legion posts in the Philippines. Of course, Puerto Rico is a part of the United States, but Puerto Rico, where were the others? There was, I guess when we go down a little bit more, right here, France, Mexico, and they call it the District of Columbia. I guess they don't consider the District of Columbia a part of the United States, so since it's not, the District of Columbia is kind of side, right? But it's not a state.
It's just not a state.
It's not a state. So we're located all over. and with that being said, we were, the American Legion was formed in 1919, and so for the purposes of being able to look out for the betterment of the veterans, the oldest veterans organization is VFW. They're the oldest, I think it was like 1895, somewhere in there, VFW. But we were the first organization, also in 1919, we were chartered by Congress. So with that being said, that became a big deal, being chartered by Congress and making sure that we are a voice for veterans to Congress. The American Legion was at the focal point and in the forefront of making sure there's a VA hospital. The VA hospital system that we deal with today, American Legion had the main hand in making the VA hospital plausible. That's why we have that. So working together, you have the VA, you have the VFW, you have the American Legion, that when it came to the medical, educational benefits that are going on, organizations are the reason why. Going to Congress, lobbying, and getting them to put together these benefits for veterans. American Legion has been at the forefront of a lot of what is going on with veterans today, of the things that we are able to partake in. Our latest accomplishment, so if you want to call it an accomplishment, was to bring the attention to what happened in Camp Lejeune to the Marines and getting the benefits for them and their families. And we were able to get the PACT Act passed by Congress, right? We went up to lobby. I'm a member of the National Legislative Committee for the American Legion in the United States. So we had to go up to DC to go right into the offices. We went to office, US senators and Congress, lobbying them for a long time to get them to listen to us and hear us and pass the PACT Act so that the veterans that served at Camp Lejeune would get their just due from polluted water that they got in their bodies. Now, a lot of them are dealing with cancer because of the water from Camp Lejeune. So that's what that's our last big thing that we got stuff we're working on still right now, of course. With that being said, the American Legion here in, I just think I'm gonna do it in North Carolina, because we're here at Dilworth Rotary, with Rotary here in North Carolina, and let you know, because a lot of things we kind of cross paths. Some of the things that Rotary does and that what we are doing with the American Legion, believe it or not, especially when it comes to youth and service, right? So with that being said, if you want to go to the programs and training and services. So you'll see a list of a lot of the programs. We American Legion cruisers and Legion riders. We have those who ride bikes. They're not gang members. You see some of them and they got the vests on, whatever, and people looking like, oh, look at those bikers. No, they're not gang members. They're Legion riders, right? And they're riding on behalf of our brothers and sisters who serve in the military. We have a blood program with blood drives. We have a list of programs that we do, and this is not just North Carolina. This is the American Legion, okay? And the Blue Star and Gold Star banners. Now, Blue Star parents and Gold Star parents tell you the difference between the two and how we support those two organizations. Blue Star mothers are those who have children that are currently serving in the military. Gold Star mothers are those who lost a loved one during service. They died during service. And so we do a lot of supporting of those two organizations and who they are and what they do and who they are to us. Because I'm someone's son. My mother was a Blue Star mother during her time living. And so some are have the unfortunate pleasure of being Gold Star parents. And we have a banquet that we do in conjunction with them, partnership with them every year to honor their loved ones that they lost. We have, when it comes to citizenship, getting, there are veterans who served with us and have served with us from other countries that were not citizens. They were here in the United States, right, as immigrants, and they've served. And I know some of you might have you following politics. You see, they sent people back to their countries who literally were in Iraq. And as soon as they got home, they were sent back to their countries after they've served years on behalf of the United States. And they were here legally, but for some reason or another, they were sending these citizens back to their countries who wanted to be citizens of the United States, and they wore our uniform. Marine Corps, Navy, whatever, they literally fought alongside us. And we work hard from a citizenship, getting their citizenship that has honorably served this country.
And that was actually an expectation.
Yeah, that was an expectation that they would become citizens.
This was a deal that we. were
Yeah,
supposed
and
to-
Congress has been still sending them back to their countries after they
Usually
served this country.
with trauma, with medical complications.
So the thing that gets us the most is that we have hundreds of thousands that are allowed right now, that are being dropped off in cities all around this country, immigrants. I don't know if some of you have heard, they literally are just dropping immigrants off by the thousands in cities around the United States. It's the weirdest thing. But those who serve in our uniform have been sent back and not being allowed to become legal citizens that they were expected to be. So these are things that we fight for. We do a family support network, flag advocacy. We're teaching people how to properly respect our flags, how you dispose of flags. There's a burning ceremony that you properly do. You can drop flags off at the VFWs and American Legion posts, and they will properly do the ceremonial disposal of flags for you. And we do a lot of that. Get out the vote. We are about election. We are about voting. We make sure that we continue to educate our members on how important it is to vote, because those that we put in office also affects whatever they vote on when it comes to our veterans. We have a lot of people now. We have about 82 persons in Congress right now that have served. That's all. About 82 have served in the military that are in Congress right now. And Congress is in a couple of hundreds, but we only have 82, and it's trickling down more and more. And the more we lose of any type of veterans or those who are veteran friendly, they quickly are starting to do do things that is against veterans instead of for. And it's been really concerning for us. So the get out the vote is about, hey, we put in people that respect everyone, especially those who are serving in the military. Homeless veterans, and that just goes without saying, but we work hard in conjunction with so many other organizations around the country and dealing with our homeless veterans and making sure that they get the benefits and resources, whatever support we possibly can, once we can identify them, to help them to get back on their feet. The honor and remembrance, that goes through, I'm not going to go through each one of these, but honor and remembrance is about remembering our veterans that have served, and we expect each of our individual American Legion posts to do those honor remembrance ceremonies of those who passed away. When they do, they're members of your post. Coming down some more, the legislative action, I just want to mention on that, the legislative action, we once again do a lot of lobbying to Congress, as well as our state legislator and our local legislators, the ones that has an impact on the benefits and services of veterans. So here in North Carolina, for example, the VFW and American Legion, I have to mention VFW, we lobbied to North Carolina, trying to get better benefits to our veterans. Because in South Carolina, I'm 100% disability rate right now as a veteran. If I was in South Carolina, I don't have to pay any more taxes. Okay, whatever property I have, what have you, I don't have to do that anymore. In North Carolina, that's not the case. So we're working hard to get it. It's a percentage they give off, North Carolina, but in South Carolina, it's completely, you're 100% as a veteran, you don't. So we're trying to get North Carolina to that point as well, to honor the 100% disabled veterans with not having to pay the property taxes on their home and cars, like South Carolina does. So National Emergency Fund, when we had the government lockdown, and a lot of people don't know this, but our Coast Guard is military, but they're not recognized by the Department of Defense as the military branch. They fall under Homeland Security, right? So with that being the case, when we had the lockdown, the Coast Guard was not getting paid.
Holy.
So they were out there guarding our coast, and they were not getting paid. So the American Legion, we sent a little over $1 million that would go directly to paying them, to giving them some type of salary, because they went a month, 2 months, they got no pay. So we contributed a couple $1 million to get them paid. So
Did they get paid once the government, did they get
once
retroactive?
No, they didn't get retroactive. No, it didn't. So, and which was great that we did what we did for them. So there wasn't a retroactive. You had them out there guarding our coastline, especially with all the drug dealing and illegal trafficking coming in, all kind of stuff going on out there, but they weren't getting paid. That's just the most insane thing we ever do, but it is a military branch, but they put it under Homeland Security, so there's things they can do that military can't do. So that's why. So I'm saying it, that right there was just not the only thing, but we use that to help fund. We have, national security, we get together with Congress a lot, from our national leadership gets with Congress a lot on controlling and protecting our borders and what have you. And, because a lot of you might know, there's only certain things you can use the military for, and the actual military, so that's why they have the National Guard. So the states can call the National Guard to do things that the actual federal military can't do on land for now. Okay, so you can't use the military against Americans.
And
You know,
shouldn't do.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't, but nonetheless, they'll call the National Guard up for things like that. Okay, so the governors control those. And so we do a lot of working with them on things that we want them to do to better the security of our country. When I was in Washington, D.C. this past March, we had our legislative day there on American Legion. And so we had the Secretary of Defense, and we had the Secretary of the VA. We had the House Speaker of the House, others that was there speaking with us, right? And all of us that came from all over the country that were part of that legislative committee. And I had chills listening to those senators speaking to us directly and telling us how important we are to them and how they put together policy. They literally call on our national commander and his officers, and before they put together and putting together policy that affects military veterans, they call on us and they rely upon us, which they have done for many, many, many years. They rely on the American Legion. And it was just amazing how important this organization is and has been to the government and things that we do as far as policy. Just absolutely wonderful to know. So I won't go through all of these because one thing that I want to make sure I mention before I'm done, because I need to wrap up. Here at the Ronald McDonald House, we have a big long-term partnership with them. We collect pool tabs that we donate to Ronald McDonald. We've done, we've given millions of dollars to the Ronald McDonald House. But from soda cans, we collect those, get them piled up enough, and then they get cash. They're able to cash those in. So we deliver to the Ronald McDonald House here a lot. And we do a lot with them all over the state of North Carolina, where there's a Ronald McDonald House. That's a big deal for us here as well as around the country. We have a long-standing partnership with them. One of the temporary financial assistance. Before that, Sons of the American Legion. If you are a son or a grandson of someone that served in the military, then we have a branch of our American Legion. They're called Sons of the Legion. They didn't serve, but their father or mother or grandparents served in the military. They have the Sons of the Legion, and they are a big organization that does a lot of work on behalf of veterans as well. Temporary financial assistance, if you ever know of a veteran, if someone comes to you and you know that they're going through a difficult time and they are a legitimate veteran, they can come to us and we can help them with up to $1,500, give them some type of money to help them through their financial situation. They have people with family, veterans with family, they're going through a difficult time. We will do what we can. We prove their financial hardship, and they will provide up to $1,500 check for them.
Do you work with the Veterans Bridge Home as well to
Yes,
identify those?
yes.
Yeah.
And the big thing I wanted to show, the youth programs, the American Legion Baseball, we have Hall of Famers that have come through American Legion Baseball. American Legion Baseball is over 80 years old. They're one of the biggest, it's televised on ESPN Live, and we have our Legion World Series, and it's played in the small town of Shelby, North Carolina every year. And we divulge on Shelby.
Nice facility.
Yes.
Shelby is not
It's
nice,
nice.
but.
So the Legion baseball is huge. It is absolutely huge. And so that is a pride and joy of the American Legion because of what we do. And, and speaking of sports, we also we sponsor an Indianapolis car that is doing very well. We have an Indy car that has American Legion on the front of it and that driver is doing quite well. And we are headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so how good is that, right? But we now have American Legion ladies fast pitch softball. These are our youth programs, and that Legion, these young ladies from high school are they're phenomenal to watch. I mean, they're like pros. But we had that in the last 3-4 years now with ladies fast pitch softball program. Children and youth, that's just children and youth, period. That's all of this fall underneath that. The Tar Heel Boys State is a program we do once a year. In the month of June, for a whole week, we have young men that go to Tar Heel Boys State. We have it at Catawba College. It's hosted there for a week, and they're learning everything about government. Everything about government. They run for senator, they run for Congress, governor, they run for all different type of political positions. They learn the Constitution, the national Constitution, the state Constitution. They go through, it's an intense course, but it's fun. And then they also get the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. to represent North Carolina. A couple of them do, and they are hanging out with the president of the United States. When they leave from that, they go up to D.C. to hang with the president for a little bit and Congress. Then, so it is a phenomenal program, and we pay for it, of course. Each post, we sponsor a young man to go, and we also have Girls State that is done by the Ladies Auxiliary. The Ladies Auxiliary of the American Legion is the largest women's veterans organization, support organization in the country. And young ladies who want to go to Girls State, they go through way of auxiliary, and they go through the same course. But it's girls only over here in one dorm, boys over in another dorm.
Do you have to be ROTC to participate in Boys State? I can't remember.
Say that again?
ROTC, do you have to?
No,
Yeah.
no, you don't have to be RTC. No. And we try, and believe it or not, we work hard to try to get people to participate, the children, and we have a hard time getting children, high schoolers to, parents to send it, give us someone, it's free.
You can have my kid. You can have one of mine.
Good. So, but this is 9th through 12th grade, as long as they haven't graduated. 12th grade, if they're graduating, then they want you going into 12th grade and not have graduated in the way to college. The other program that I wanted to mention is the oratorical program that we have going on right now. For example, oratorical, they can win up to $25,000 scholarship money, okay, doing a speech on the United States Constitution. Okay, they can start from the 9th grade to the 12th grade. You can do it up to age 20. Because there are 20-year-olds in 12th grade. And you can do it as long as you have not committed to college, you can participate in the oratorical contest. And we sponsor it. Once again, each individual post sponsors a student. Okay, and as I stated, if they make it up to national, even if they don't win the national, they still come home with several $1,000s of scholarship money, $5,000 to $10,000, depending on how far they make it up through. If they make it up to national. But even from the state, if they make it to the state of North Carolina and they win it, that's a $1,000 scholarship, but they win money even up before that. So they win money at the district level, at our division level, state level, and then national level. They win scholarship money at each level. And they can participate every year, starting in 9th grade. They can participate every year. You win the national, then you can no longer participate after you win the national. But you can win money every year doing the oratorical contest. You first do an 8 to 10 minute speech on the Constitution, on whatever they want to talk about, and then they come back and they have to do a 3 to 5 minute speech within that competition. And you do the same thing at each level. They don't change it. It's the same thing at each level. I promote this big because, believe it or not, we have a difficult time getting students to participate in speaking on the Constitution in this competition. And we've given away millions of dollars. We have money to give, but we can't get students. We go to schools, talk to the counselors, and they think we're joking sometimes, but it's kind of weird. We put it out there, we give them information. I know they have a lot on their plate to try to get students just through. We let them know this is free scholarship money. Let the students know. They can be homeschooled, private school, or public school. They can participate in our oratorical contest.
What about their opinions on the Constitution?
They can't give opinions. All they can do is give a speech.
Well, speech a lot of times is
Yeah.
opinions.
Yeah.
In other words, they can't
Question,
be
just
like politicians.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried marketing directly to the students through social media? Or you
That's
go through
what
the
I've started doing. I go right to the students myself. That's what I've done, and we've gotten students in more and more. And so I've been lucky enough with Charlotte Latin, believe it or not, more than any public school. Charlotte Latin has been pouring us. They have a debate.
Yeah.
They have a debate
Anyone
team, and
that's got a debate
they love every year they call me.
And
so
they
I'm
really need the money this time.
right. They really need the money.
They
Yeah.
really need the money.
But I get students from Charlotte Latin all the time now. But my post, we sponsor Audrey Kell and South Met. I'm in Pineville. My post is in Pineville. But Audrey Kell and South Met are 2 schools that we pull from. But we have posts that are responsible for all the schools in Mecklenburg County. They're spread out. But it's just getting students in. Don't cost them a thing, but a little bit of time. And then we give them on what part of the Constitution they have to do their speech on.
You need to tell their parents, as a mom of a junior and a senior.
So
Tell them, get your kid to do this and.
Yep.
that's one thing I'm putting out, that's why I'm putting it out there now.
Yeah.
Because people like to have that free scholarship money for it. And once again, from 9th grade to 12th grade, they can participate in this and it doesn't cost them a thing. And then we are Special Olympics, scouting, and we have other, the junior shooting sports program where they go out and competition with rifles. We have that as well. That's a big program of ours as well. And some of them have, we've had, I think they said they've had 2 that actually represented the United States in the Olympics. Because coming through our program, our junior shooting scout program, and they ended up going and representing the United States. So we do a lot of youth. Youth is a big thing for American Legion. And so I push that a lot regarding the youth programs that we do. And this organization has been, since its inception, it's been about veterans and family and community. And so with that being said, I went over on time, so I wanted to stop, but there could be so much more I could share about the American Legion, who we are and what we do. Did anyone have any questions before oh, yes, ma'am.
So how do you get funds? Do you do like sponsorships or fundraisers or is the government giving you money? Like how?
We get money from government as well as business organizations, because we are a nonprofit, national, and each of the individual American Legion posts also have to do the paperwork to be a nonprofit. So every post is a nonprofit organization as well. So they're going through getting grants, and all of the posts on the post level, they're in their community. So they have different relationships within their city, and some of them, they get major grants or what have you. But on the national level, the state level, our headquarters, the national, the state, or individual state, they get grant funding from the government, directly from the government, as well as corporations that provide funding. And then we have millions of members, and each state we have to pay our dues. So our annual dues that are paid to the individual state help as well, which is not a big portion of our funding at all, but that is a portion of it. And in addition to all of the grants and the other funding that comes in from corporations as well as the government on a yearly basis.
What's your biggest challenge as an organization?
Membership.
Okay.
Welcome to the club, right, y'all?
Our biggest challenge now is membership, because we have a lot of old timers that don't want to change. And when it comes to veterans, getting them to change, we got Korean War and Vietnam veterans that said we're fine just the way we are, and we started this post with this, and we're gonna die like this. So we got 5 left, don't worry about it. They'll have 5 members with $500,000 in the bank, and they don't care. They're not giving, they're just okay with where they are. So, but membership, growing the membership and getting rid of the stereotype and the thing that all we do is drink and whatever, that's not the case. That's the VFW. So, it really is. It's not a flight at them, but it really is. They think that American Legion is that, and it's not. So we try to, that stigma really is
Sounds like
stuck,
a
it's
PR
stuck.
problem.
Yes, PR problem. And so we have a lot to work on and get that stereotype hurts the membership growth. So you got over 100,000 is just coming out of dealing with Iraq and Afghanistan, but they're not members of the American Legion, an organization that supports them, where they can get somewhere they can get a relief and somewhere they can go and be themselves and talk to people who understand who they are and what they've been through. But they're like, no, it's a bunch of old guys. That's what they say to me. Everybody, a bunch of guys, old guys, they see this on me and they're like, nah. So we got better things to do with our time. And so getting them to understand that's not who we are. Oh, okay. Was there another question we can first stop?
No. Because you'll probably win. I'll afterwards.
Okay.
The word has gotten out.
The word's gotten out like.
I think we should have.
No, you have to choose. You're the.
I have to choose.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're the guest speaker today.
You just played, did you, Darrell?
Let it be David. Please let it be David.
Dave.
It just says.
The last three numbers are 841.
It is one of mine.
You know, you know.
There you go.
See, oh my God.
All right. I take it.
Every week.
I'll take that.
Yes.
I know, they're all in love.
Yes.
All right.
So,
He is
41.
oh,
Yeah.
so our five-way test of all the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill, better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun?
All right.
Wow. I wish I could have,
Number
started
six.
later.
Oh, yeah,
Bye.
No.
She said it with a smile.